Good evening. Welcome to the Fireside Chat right here on IntellectualRadio.com. I am excited to be here today. I am joined with my son-in-law. He is my guest today, Len, with his handsome self.
Okay.
Yes, this is my son-in-law. Um, he's been married to my daughter for what, almost 4 years?
Yeah, almost.
Almost 4 years.
October 3rd, 2020.
Oh, wow.
Damn it.
Almost 4 years. Wow. Time surely does fly.
It does.
It'll be 20 before you know it. That's crazy.
But yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. I love real conversation, and me and this young man, we always have really good conversation, and I wanted to carry on some of the things that we talk about, around the house and different things like that. I just want to say when I met um, Lynn, I am friends with his mother, and we both were on the same ministry at church. And she often would talk about him and parallel a lot of his. She would always say that you and Michaela had similarities, and she would say, "Well, I got a male Katie at home," and I wouldn't believe her, right? Because I'm like, ain't nobody like Michaela. She's special all by herself. So, um, I'm just putting my phone right here so I can make sure I see the comments when they come up. So, shout out to Tasha, who did a wonderful job raising this gentleman over here. When I met you, I got a chance to talk to you for like 5 hours before you even met Michaela. And I was so interested in, it really did impress me how intelligent you were to be young as you was, and your insight, your perspective on things to be so young. I was just like, wow, it was really impressive. So shout out to my sister Tasha. I'm gonna give her flowers. Girl, you did that.
Oh, yeah.
You did that. So all her.
A little bit of me, but all her.
A little bit of you.
About 10% me.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just been such a awesome last couple of years, right? I entitled this show "Not Too Young for Marriage," okay? Because there's a whole lot of content going around social media. I feel like that feeds the narrative of the hookup culture and broken homes, baby mama drama, and just to have a little insight on a young man that made a decision at a very young age to become a husband. And today I just want to dig a little bit inside and just have him share on what caused him to marry, what made him make a decision to marry young. How is that going? What do he say to other young men around his age that desire to get married, but they got so many people in their ear telling them, you need to wait, you're too young, this and that. But yet we got baby mamas from 14 all the way up to the 20s, and our organizations are filled with women and children. So to kick this off, first I want to thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
He just took some time out his day to come and do this with me. I want to know first, Lynn, tell them, how old was you when you got married?
22.
22
yeah.
years old?
22 years old.
Wow, that's very young.
Very.
That's very young.
Not something you think about at 22.
Right. And so from our previous conversation, you said that originally you didn't want to be married.
Absolutely
so what changed
not.
your mind?
The right woman.
The right woman changed.
Right time. Yeah.
Why was she the right woman at 22?
It took some time to notice that, honestly. We were just always talking, always hanging out. Like from the moment that I met her, we just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had my ego was in it too. So I wanted to kind of prove a point that there was good guys out there. You know, we hear that term all the time, man eater. Well, actually, I've been hearing it all the time since I've met you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's apparently a term that women use amongst each other to refer to women that usually hate men for obvious reasons that they all can relate on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man eater, oh, that's crazy. There's good men out there. So to just prove that point, I made a point to be uh, the best man possible that she could see in person. So, as a friend.
And you felt the need to do that as young as you were. You
Mhm.
felt the need to prove to her that you was a good man at 22 years old.
Yeah, and it had nothing to do with getting a girl. It had everything to do with proving a point. Because there's a lot of good men out there. They just get involved with the wrong women or women that maybe just don't see the potential as soon as they would like and don't have the patience to wait.
Wow.
I know that was a mouthful.
No, that was good. Hi, Mother. Diamond Cuts and Rose. Mother Rose, how are you? Good to see you. So, okay. You want to prove that you was a good guy.
Yeah.
Michaela, on the other end, she had a list of things that she
Yeah.
wanted, and we find that to be right.
Mhm.
Women have lists.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Michaela got the important things off of the list that she had that she wanted in a guy?
Oh yeah, I feel like she got some important things. One of those things that she just got, being a man of God.
Okay.
That's been a journey. That's still a journey. I'm still going through that.
Yeah.
You know, emotions every day. It's hard to kind of stay focused on your spiritual journey when the natural is just so chaotic. Uh, but you know, I think I checked off a lot of the things on the list. I didn't. There was some of them that I didn't check off. It just by genetics, you know, the height. Me being 5'6", you know, it can be like a mic drop for most women.
Oh.
So, you know, kind of like, yeah, no, I'm good. You got it. So, you know,
Oh my
I
goodness.
didn't get that part, but I got everything else. So,
Well, me being a bystander, okay, someone that sits close and watches. One of the things that impressed me about y'all being so young, y'all act like y'all senior citizens sometimes. Like y'all act so old. Y'all do. But one of the things that I learned to respect about y'all, and I had to be at y'all house for a couple of days to see, y'all don't argue.
nah, what?
Y'all do not. I have never seen over these last 4 years disagreement, yes, but argue, yelling, slamming doors. I have never seen. Can you help the people? How do?
It's like that's so crazy. Like I get that all the time. They're like, oh, you guys don't argue. Like, oh my God, just wait till you guys argue. Like it's just gonna be the end of the world. Like you can have disagreements with your significant other, but it's another thing to cut through them when they're wrong, when you think that they're wrong, because you're not always right.
Wow.
And you decided to be in a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So that requires you to sometimes humble yourself, sometimes, you know, get on their level or kind of just step back and listen, you know, kind of just observe sometimes. You learn your person. So
That's so. Boy, wait. Don't you know how many grown-ups that still have not mastered self-control and communication in their way to where it leads up being a whole fight? Right? I'm talking about when folks packing bags, leaving home, all of that. I've never seen it even escalate. Like, I just be sitting there like, this is just too good to be true. I bet you when I'm not around, they be going at it. That's what I was thinking.
Never. I love her. And I, you know, and that's what it comes down to. You got to remember, like, I know that saying, you know, you got to remember why you started in the first place. You got to remember why you fell in love with that person in the first place. You know, and we're not just, let's be real, we're not all going to just dive back into the past like that. You know, like real life happens. That person's going to irritate you. You pissed me off this morning, excuse my French. But, you know, it just is what it is. You're not always going to like each other. But the respect needs to be there at all times. Because here's the thing, once you tear down your woman and you say, so maybe something about like her. Like, I don't know if like if once you cut into a woman, it's hard for her to heal from those wounds because those wounds are coming from someone that she deeply cares about. And she believes deeply cares about her. So it might sound deep,
No,
but
it sound good.
you're when you start a family, you're trying to build a legacy.
Wow.
Do you want to build your foundation on things that can possibly make sure that it's ensure that your generation in the future is just screwed up, broke. You can't, nobody can trust them. They can't trust themselves, on drugs, just can't control their emotions.
And
that's what happens.
So in what does that look like to cut into a woman? Because I think that some things have become so normalized, and we live in a culture now where it's I ain't wearing my feathers on my sleeve. I don't care this nigga this that. So in what ways, coming from a gentleman, what does cutting into a woman look like?
You can cut into a woman in many ways,
Okay.
but one of those ways, which I would never do, is verbally, because those are wounds that take more than just time. Like, like I feel like I have an amazing woman, but all her bad qualities come from the first man in her life breaking her heart. I told her that she can trust me with hers. To break that a second time, you can no wonder why there's so many women that legitimately hate men.
Mm.
Hello, I was trying to prove the opposite from from the very moment that I met her.
She had father wounds.
She had father wounds.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get a partner, it is your job to make sure that they become the best possible version that that they want and they need and that you need in your future, because that's what you're investing into. It's an investment.
So wait a minute, because talking to you, I feel like I'm sitting here talking to somebody, twice your older.
Somebody wise.
Yeah,
somebody
like more seasoned.
That looks at something
Mm-hmm.
and realizes the problem and finds a solution to it, or tries to find one. It's not hard. It's people don't try. You don't love them enough.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. The care is misplaced, because sometimes you can just misplace the care. You can think that you're loving someone the right way. You think that you're giving them everything that they need, but when you ever really just sat down and asked them, hey, are you happy?
Wow.
Or is there anything that I ever said that might have hurt your feelings?
Oh my, Lynn, let me tell you, you're gonna get tomatoes thrown at you.
I'm so sorry.
The way you sitting up here talking, I'm letting you talk because men need to know that is so important. So you said, because see, first of all, talking about, did I hurt you? Did I say something to hurt? That's attentiveness. So what do you, first of all, I'm so glad my daughter have you for a husband, okay? And that I see why she feels so safe. When I see her sometimes, I still see that little girl.
Mm.
I can still see that innocence. I don't see like her wounded. She's always smiling most of the time. And then she knows what she have. Mm-hmm. And she acts like she knows what she have.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about, for those that join, we're talking about not too young for marriage, because we see a lot of broken homes, baby mama, baby daddy, but you turn around and tell a young person they're too young to be married. So here my son-in-law he's 20. How old are you now?
26. Oh
26.
My God.
Okay, he married my daughter Michaela at 22.
Man.
And so we talk about this all the time at home, and it's kind of spilled over into the Fireside Chat, because it's very important that we understand that we're intentional about seeing more wholesome homes. Then there has to be more husbands that's capable, okay, of holding it down and not being the key, what you call it, the main common denominator, and wrecking and breaking a broken home.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Calvin. So here my son-in-law is says, you stop to ask Michaela, did I hurt your feelings? Is there anything what you
Yeah,
say you ask her?
have I ever made you unhappy? Are you happy? Like those are very simple things, but a lot of people don't ask those questions often, and that can be the difference between a possible divorce or them maybe stepping out. Not everybody has the same temperament, tolerance, or patience. So like you're thinking that everything is fine, but because you didn't ask
Wow.
or you're not paying attention enough, you didn't receive the answers. And you're sitting here now. You're wondering why are you leaving me? Why aren't you showing me affection anymore?
So then once a woman communicates, once your wife
Mm-hmm.
communicates to you, this makes me unhappy.
Yeah.
I don't like when you say this. I don't like when you talk to me or whatever she expressed that's
Mm-hmm.
causing her to feel some type of way. Do you take that as, do you have an ego or you ever been confronted with an ego that says, I'm a man and,
Oh
you
man.
supposed to do this and that without, what's the point of asking her
Yeah.
if you're not deliberate
Yeah.
about
And
making a change?
not to cut you off, but yeah, to just answer it. Yeah. I'm just now learning. I'm just now doing the work myself. So I can say firsthand that I'm not no Superman. I'm not the best. I'm probably the best husband in the world to her because I'm her husband.
Right.
But um, you know, I have my faults and I have my moments where my ego does show itself. But I notice it, and when I notice it, I check myself. And sometimes what that looks like, sometimes is within a conversation, you silence yourself, and then instead of talking, you listen.
Wait a
That's what
minute.
women been trying to tell us forever. Listen. I mean, what?
I'm floored.
Just listen. And sometimes we can ask a question and not really be prepared to receive the answer. So
That's good, Lynn. That's good. Has that happened to you?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, a lot. Man, I sometimes I I battle with myself. I'm like, man, I could be a better husband. Like, dang, like I need to step it up in this lane or in the romance department. I'm not. She's seeing all these TikToks and things like that where everybody's stocking the house with roses and I mean petals all over the floor everywhere. It's no special occasion. It's just because she's breathing. Like that's a lot of competition. So I gotta make sure that I show up in other ways, like emotionally, And right now, I'm realizing that that's not enough. As a man, you need to show that she can commit herself fully to you. Because I've noticed that throughout the first 3 years of our marriage, it took me just now at year almost going on, yeah, year four, where we're just like, dang, like man, I don't have it all. I don't have it all. I have to really just lock in and listen and do the work and show her, just like how I did in the beginning. You know, show her. Sometimes when we fall off and our significant other is looking kind of weak in like the love department, especially when life is just lifing, you can you need to remember to kind of just sit down and maybe just watch a movie or a show or reminisce on little things that used to pull you guys together.
Wow. I mean, I'm just listening to you drop all this like you've been married for 15, 20 years. Like, I'm just really, no, I'm
Yeah.
serious. And then at the same time, I'm like, same thing, God, same thing, please. Same thing,
Yeah,
please.
you'll get it. You'll get it.
Kaya, same thing,
Yeah.
please. Okay, so what do you say to young guys that say, man, you could be out here doing X, Y, Z, Y, Z, Y, Z. I ain't never finna settle down with no one woman. I ain't never doing this. I could be doing it. What do you say to people who look at you and say, man, you too young to be a husband. You too young for that.
Well, I would ask when. Well, then when? If I'm not ready now, then when? If How are you ready to sleep with someone if you don't know how to commit to someone? Because what if you get that woman pregnant? you by default coming in with nothing and coming in with no experience, you coming in with no real guidance, believe that you can do it better than everybody else before you. Do it in a smarter way. No, I never heard of a father that has praise from all his children and his family and all the reverence that he deserves or needs to really just thrive in life as a man. Not just for his ego's sake, but for his mind's sake, his mentality. A man needs to be constantly validated, but it's fruitful only when he's actually put the work in. So it's like, man, like I don't know. I honestly can't trust a man like that. You're still underdeveloped. Like, not to shoot any shots. You just need to learn. You need to grow. You need to take some advice. You need to see it where it's worked.
So you saying that if you man enough to lay down and make a baby and create a family, then you ain't too young to be a husband. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
You're not. You're not. I mean, come on. I mean, let's think about all the brothers that don't end up in jail because they are paying their child support. You are working somewhere, making some money somewhere. You were dropping that woman maybe $100 a month at least. So you mean to tell me that you can't go put down a down payment on a ring and commit to someone and actually try to like have like something work something? What? Like, all you have is your job. You could die tomorrow, they replace you.
Yeah.
Are you worried about, oh, I wanna chase my dreams, I wanna travel? You can travel with that person. You can travel with your baby.
So is she good enough to sleep with?
Yeah, she good enough to commit to.
So why do you think young men run away from that? Or what do you think is influencing them to believe that that's not the best choice for me? I don't need to do that. I should be able to have 3 or 4 different baby mamas, okay, and just pay my child support or take care of my children and then smash them baby mamas in rotation like I want to, because do you think that, because I think sometimes they think that's a part of manhood, sleep with a bunch of women. Do you?
Yes, that is a misconception and it's truly false. What? That is insane. Think about that. That doesn't make any logical sense. And men want to spew logic all the time. As a group, as a collective, we're so logical. We're more logical than women. Ugh. What world does that make sense? Like, when I knew. If you don't know if that girl you can see her in your future, then why are you dealing with her? Why are you wasting her time? She's only easy like this because of some daddy issues or somebody that didn't give her what you're giving her. Like, that desire, that want, that need for a proper male role model is what she was really crying out for, and you could have just been her friend.
I am just floored listening to a 26-year-old man talk like this, first of all. I also want to point out the fact, because this is so, when I tell you this part, most men, young men, who did not grow up with their father to teach them and show them this, do not develop into this type of mindset on their own most of the time unless they got mentors and people around them. For you to not have that presence, that fatherly presence in your life, do you feel like a lot of young men use that as a crutch to remain in that state?
Absolutely. Man, I don't understand the logic in that either. But because me as a man, I constantly want to prove to even myself that I'm better than I was yesterday. So, like, you gotta lock in. Like,
how did you fight through not having a present father and still keep your determination, your drive to be a positive role model, to be a positive man? What helped you through those struggles that tugged away at you because you had that void like many other young men have? Where did you get the strength to overcome that and overcoming that?
You said, where did I get the strength to overcome those
fatherlessness and having to be a husband and all that? Never had a dad to teach me this, never had a dad to show me how to be a man, a husband. What do you say to young men like that that feel like they can't do that because they didn't have an example? Let me just put it that way.
That's a good question. Honestly, I'm gonna just go off the heart with this one because I really don't know the answer to that because I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing that myself. Like
Right.
I'm really trying to go through the motions and just really figure out how to do this the right way and how to handle all the pressures that I feel is on my shoulders. Um, you have to understand that nothing great, nothing strong comes without pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So as a young man, you need to invite the
Michaela.
pain. You need to invite the
Woo.
uncomfortability.
Invite the
You
pain.
need to really just like not suck it up, but deal with your emotions. Learn your emotions, learn your triggers. Never get caught slipping. Like for real. Never get caught slipping intellectually. Always studying is something that you should always do as a man. You should always try to elevate your mindset. You should never be complacent. You should always do the uncomfortable.
Oh, that's so good. Because leaders are readers.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
If you don't use it, you'll lose it. And those are definitely things that you need to keep in your arsenal as a young man, because it's going to really, it's going to put you a step above all the men that are before you. Because, hey, that's not a bad thing. It's not a shot at the older gentleman.
Mm.
That is a compliment. That is a job well done. Shake my hand, sir. Like, that's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
The next generation is supposed to be the better version.
Yeah.
Like we should be frowning. Like the older men should have been on their podiums, should have been on the stands having their mics open at their mouths. And if it takes a younger man to do that, you should take the time to understand that not hey, don't feel any type of way about it. Take it and learn from it and grow from it.
This
That's
is
it.
so good. When I tell you, I'm just sitting up here like, am I sitting next to a young man or a man my age? This wisdom that's flowing out of you, you have not been alive long enough
Man.
to know the things that you know, okay? And so thank you for joining me, Mr. Antonio Castillo. Thank you for joining me, Michaela. Your husband is sitting here dropping nuggets like he a 50-year-old man.
Hey baby.
Oh, this is so sweet. I am so, when I tell you this is so good, and I wish that more young men was watching, but the replay is going to be there, and I'm definitely going to be clipping away some reels, highlighting some of the things that you're saying, because I think that we have lost sight of what a gentleman looks like, what lady and gentleman is, right? I always said we got niggas and hoes now, but ladies and gentlemen, you know, it seems to be a lost art, you know, in our character and different things like that, the way our men carry themselves, the way our young ladies carry themselves. Would you have been attracted to what's presented today in women? Like most of this stuff you're looking at, you know, now no, I don't want to like get off at nobody, you know, but I want to know the type of man that you are and the type of what we're being taught, like the way these young ladies are. What was different with Michaela from all the rest of the women that you encountered? What stood out to you more than the fact that she was pure? Okay.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't aware that was a plus.
Right, true. So what was it? What was your attraction to Michaela? Because she wasn't like half naked and like twerking all in your face and doing a bunch of stuff. So what was it that attracted you to her?
She was able to hold a conversation.
Oh.
You know, men like to be heard too, but also, like, we talked about this word in the car, like, she's obedient. Like, and not like, oh, I'm the man, I'm barking orders. Or
obedient.
Like obedient. Like, okay, so I'm gonna give you like all right, so.
No.
Yeah, see, when I tell her that I don't like something or I'm not comfortable with something, she immediately, even if she doesn't agree with it, eradicates it, finds a way to make me more comfortable with the situation. And that's something that
Okay,
somebody
Mrs.
would usually combat you on.
Mhm.
And that type of behavior, I've never been attracted to. And it's something that it should red flags for everybody. If your partner or person that you're into doesn't want or isn't comfortable with you being open minded or being open and honest, then you should probably run for the hills. Like, somebody is not as dedicated, you know, and that's what marriage is dedication, even when it's hard. So even when you don't understand.
Oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
your wife says, tell him, babe, I give the other people hell, but not my man.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
Michaela.
for sure.
Okay, Michaela.
Oh yeah, and she a little mean butt too. I love that.
You love
Yeah, I love that. I love how mean she is. Like, not like in a disrespectful way, but she just don't take anything from anybody.
Yeah.
She's a strong, powerful black woman.
Oh,
And I
okay.
love that about her. The emphasis on that part.
Okay, Michaela.
All right.
Okay, then, girl. Okay,
Yes.
then.
Yes.
I absolutely love that. Oops, I feel like my mic is on. I absolutely love that. And I think that, thank you, Lynn. I absolutely love that. I believe that if we talked about being made uncomfortable for growth's sake, do you think that you previously just said basically lean into the pain, let it grow you pretty much, the stings of life in developing as a man, instead of running and backing up, lean into it, take it, you know. For all of those who have that father struggle, who believes and it's valid. I didn't have anyone to pattern after. I didn't have no one to show me the way. You said something very powerful in our conversation before when you said sometimes you gotta you too grown to keep on making excuses. You gotta do the work.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
That's one, two.
So, okay. Yeah. So, wait. Can you actually repeat that question, please?
Yes.
I want to make sure I answer it correctly.
Okay. So you said that at some point we were talking about fatherlessness and how some men they say, I didn't have this birth. Hi, Raymond. Thank you for joining me. So you said that some men that didn't grow up with a father figure, they didn't grow up with somebody showing them how to be a husband, how to be a father, how they had nothing to pattern themselves after, right? So you having that same exact experience, we spoke about you saying, you said to me, you know what? Basically, I got too grown to let my excuses keep me from growing.
Yeah.
So I was saying, elaborate on that because that seems to be a real problem amongst our young men that don't have fathers. Like, I ain't have a father and a father. So talk about that.
Well, with me not having a father, I feel like in the beginning, I mean, I had one. He wasn't just completely MIA. It wasn't until maybe toddler age where he kind of, I mean, it wasn't that he left me. It's that me and my mother and my brother at the time uh, ended up moving in with her mother, and then we kind of just he just didn't make it as often, and then he kind of just dwindled more and more and more until he just was up. Um, but to just speed straight to the point, um, I would say some things that I try to remember is that I had my mother, I have my brother, I have my cousins and my family, I have people around me that I could lean on. Well, I think we got it in our heads that we just need our biological fathers in our lives. Um, Even the bad ones. We'll take whatever we can get, but that's not necessarily true. I had this thing that I used to tell my sister that I had robot dad, and she thought it was funny, but I was serious because I would go online and I would do research on fathers and the things and the traits and things that they had and things that I didn't receive. I got a little bitter, but I took fruits from that And I made sure that I paid attention to the men around me and took the nuggets that sounded like the version of the man that I desired as a father
That's so good.
and tried to contribute that to my life and make that real.
Minister Tony said, making the adjustments, not excuses.
Period. Yeah.
That's real good. I am almost out of time, but I really, really, really feel like I want to bring like maybe my nephew Duke on here because he too had a like experience
Yeah.
and he found in another man what he lacked at home and he gravitated to that man.
Mm.
And that man taught him all the things mostly
Yeah.
that where he was lacking, he made up for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't his biological father. And I think that our young men need to understand that even if you don't have a father in your life, there are ways, strategic ways, that you can still get what you need if it don't come from a father figure, if it don't come from a older male that have that to groom you into.
Right.
He got online and started reading about what it is that he identified with, that you made those adjustments. And I think that if we could some of them could just let their pride down and humble themselves and realize I need help, then you could go ahead and get the help. Because at some point, at 40 and 50, no woman wants to hear, I have a father.
Right.
Because she about their needs. You understand?
It all comes down to really just doing the work. Yeah, you see the problem, fix it. That's all it is. It's time out for excuses.
Mm-hmm.
As a people, we need to collectively nurture our villages. That means that we need to give back, not just money, bump that. We need to get that on our own. Like, what we need is substance from seasoned people that's been there and done that. Somehow or another, boys and girls clubs have dwindled since I was a kid. Mama would drop us off on the summer, and we would see her maybe 4 hours out the day until we went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
We was outside and getting those influences from other men and older. I would say associates and stuff like that we would see.
Like
coaches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anybody that was older and that can give us advice, like children without both parents, they're gonna find it somewhere.
You're right.
So whether that's in a good way or a bad way, if you leave that door open and don't put the right person in the way of that door, you're gonna have a mess on your hands. So you're gonna have people that don't know how to control their emotions or understand other people's emotions.
Good mentors. That's right, Maria. Yeah, so I just wanted to have this conversation today right here on IntellectualRadio.com concerning young men being married. You're not too young to be married. Marriage is a responsibility for mature individuals. And you being married at 22 years old and sitting here spitting these nuggets like you're doing tells me that you were intentional about your choice. It tells me you're intentional about the growth of you and your wife, which happens to be my daughter. And from watching, witnessing the growth, witnessing the union, witnessing you execute and walk in what you're saying, and you're not just saying it for the camera, because you know me, I do real. And if you wasn't that, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Right.
I don't do that. I'm like, it is a spade is a spade. That's me.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I got much respect for you. And you and Michaela, you know, I could see you guys just, Minister Son say, position and a passion for the seat is very important. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Position and, yes, absolutely. She say, we are an intentional couple is one of our strongest points. I'm able to witness that. I also want to take this moment to talk about Manhood Matters.
Okay.
While I'm getting ready to close, I want to talk about Manhood Matters. That is hosted by Apostle Kevin Cunningham at Transformation Church. I posted a video to my page because there's a lot of young men crying out for help. And they don't know the safe place to go where they're able to be vulnerable and talk about being underdeveloped and the different things that they lack and what they want, you know, what they need in their lives. So here it is. It's a program that's put together by him and a team of men that is intentional about pouring into brothers, you know, and seeing them grow and develop and get what they need from God and just get what they need, the wisdom they need. It's just going to be a great event coming in November. Again, I posted the information to my page, and I'm going to be promoting it from now all the way to November, because we need somebody who hear the cry of our brothers, men that are living the life, men that are faithful to a wife, men that are working and providing, walking examples to show you what you need to be doing at this stage in your life as a young man. This is not about someone exerting authority over you or ordering you around like you a child. This is not that at all. This is about a life rope being presented unto you, and it's totally up to you to grab it. And I will encourage you to do so if you're intentional about your growth and development. This has been the Fireside Chat at IntellectualRadio.com. Please continue to join me every Sunday at 4 p.m. right here live on Facebook and also on YouTube at Intellectual Radio. Have a blessed evening.
That was fun.
That was fun. That was very good.
Good job.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I ain't nowhere in the world you gave my daughter this.